I was going to call this one, it'll be a fluke if it's accurate, but in this case, my fluke puked, so I'm just going to call it that. My fluke puked. Let's see what's wrong with it this time. My good old trusty fluke meter is once again giving me some trouble. Unlike the last time when it broke down, where the display wasn't working properly, everything's working on here now except for the buttons. If I turn it on, yes, it's in voltage range. Now it's in diode test mode. However, the buttons used to select the different modes, such as capacitor test or resistance test, are not functional, the same as switching between AC and DC measurements are not functional. So I got to take this one apart and see why the switches aren't working. It's going to probably be the same thing as it always is on this. It always seems to have the same problem, and it's something I've got to do on a regular basis, every couple years as a rule. I forget how many times this has been done, but it's been done a couple times. Got to pop it out of its protective case. Remove the back. And the problem is going to be on the interconnects that connect between the front panel buttons and the main board. So we need to remove the unit from the chassis again. And that's done by releasing the little plastic catches that hold the circuit board in place. It's easier if you use a small flat screwdriver to just pop it open. There's even little pry points right here that you can use to pry. The problem is going to be these connections here, right down here. This is the one for the display. This is the one for the actual interconnect to communicate with the board. And it's going to be these connectors. These are basically rubber with a strip of carbon wires that what they do is they provide a connection from the mechanical switches on the other side. This one here provides a connection to the display. So I'm just going to just get a Q-tip with some isopropyl. We're going to wipe them down and then put it back together. And that will hopefully get this one working now for a few more years. It's been a good old meter that's made in USA, Fluke. I've had this thing for, I paid $12 for this meter first of all at a swap meet many moons ago. I think I had to fix the switch here once on it, and I've had to do these a few times. So we'll clean them up once again. So I got a Q-tip with isopropyl on it. We'll just wipe down the contacts here. I'll do these ones at the same time. Just make sure that they're clean. We'll wipe down the edge. And again on this side. Now it might be the ones on the other side of here, so I should be able to pop this strip out and clean the contacts inside, which is a carbon strip. And get down here with the Q-tip and just wipe that off. Pop that back in, and then I can put the board back in. I got to snap it down on all these clips. I think that's got all the clips. And we'll throw the back on it again and see whether I've solved the problem or whether I've made it worse. Well, meter's on, all the segments are lighting up. Okay, in voltage range. This one will change the range and put it in manual range or auto. Memory, AC volts, DC volts. So yeah, the problem's solved again, and I mean, I'll be good for another couple of years. But this is a problem that you see on these meters time and time again. That's just the way they are. And this is probably, over the time I've had this unit, I've fixed this one probably, I'm going to say 5 or 6 times. I think I've done one on camera already, showing basically the same thing. But in that case, the display wasn't lighting up, and it was the connection at the top that was causing that. But as you can see now, when I turn it on, it does the self-test. All the segments light, so everything's good. My good old Fluke 12 is back as my main meter again. I do have another meter. Like, I have a brand new one I haven't used. I picked up a brand new Fluke. I forget the model number of it, but it's a newer one, and it's so new that it still has the plastic on it. I picked it up from a guy that was selling it. It had been his father's. I'll show you guys it. I got it here. I just haven't used it yet. But I'll show you what I've got in reserve for when this one does pack it in. So I picked this one up for 25 bucks. And as you can see, it's still got the protective cover on it. It's an F175. That's a great little meter. I haven't used it yet. Picked it up on Facebook for 25 bucks. The guy that sold it knew nothing about it. It was his dad's. His dad bought the thing. His dad was kind of a retired TV repairman, and I know who he was because he was in the business along the same time that I was in the business. Anyway, he bought this meter to tinker around with, and when he passed away, his son didn't need anything, didn't know what it was worth, and put an ad on Facebook for 25 bucks. So I scored that one for 25 bucks, and I scored that one for 12. I think I did okay. Anyway, thanks for watching.